Without objection, so ordered.
Thank
The
you,
gentleman
Mr.
is now
Speaker.
recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, this amendment will not kill the bill or send it back to committee. If adopted, the bill will immediately proceed to final passage as amended. Mr. Speaker, the American people are sympathetic, forgiving, and reasonable people. They understand the idea of providing some type of certainty and stability for the approximately 700,000 DACA-eligible recipients who were brought to the United States by their parents at a young age and who otherwise have played by the rules while growing up in this country.
The gentleman's correct. The House is not in order. Please come to order. You should resume.
But, Mr. Speaker, what they don't understand is providing green cards and a path to citizenship for violent gang members, national security threats, and those who, through their disdain for our laws, thumb their noses at Lady Liberty and the Constitution of the United States. And they definitely don't understand why this bill treats men and women at the Department of Homeland Security like they're the dangerous ones, preventing them from receiving and utilizing readily available information in order to remove gang members, national security threats, and other public safety threats from our country and keep our families, our communities, and our nation safe. This motion to recommit simply says, if you've been designated a danger to Americans, then you don't deserve to become an American. It provides that aliens whose applications are denied on the basis of criminal activity, national security risks, or as violent gang members are automatically referred to the Department of Homeland Security for a determination of removability from the United States. Under this bill, information about criminal activity provided in an application for a green card may not be used for the purpose of immigration enforcement, even if the application is denied or withdrawn. In practice, this means that if an applicant has a murder conviction or if the applicant is a gang member and DHS knows about it because of the application, they can't refer that person for removal. It's just wrong. The perverse and practical effect of H.R. 6 is that criminal aliens, gang members, terrorist threats, and other public safety threats who could be denied a green card will simply stay in this country, as if we are simply a sanctuary nation. Mr. Speaker, some cities might want to be sanctuary cities, but most Americans want safety from crime, not sanctuary for criminals. This MTR also does not affect the stay of removal provisions in H.R. 6 or the provisions relating to finality of adjudication in the bill. Thus, the alien cannot be removed until they have exhausted their appeals and received a final decision on their application. If Democrats see fit to exclude criminals, national security risks, public safety risks, and gang members from receiving green cards, then they should vote for this motion to recommit to ensure those dangerous aliens are also denied a safe haven in the United States. I'm sure most of the individuals who will take advantage of the provisions in this bill respect the U.S. Constitution and obey the laws of this nation. But history has proven that criminal aliens, gang members, terrorists, and other public safety threats apply for immigration benefits all the time. If they didn't, we wouldn't have to have Section 212 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, which makes such aliens inadmissible. Even under DACA, under President Obama's program, criminals have applied. In fact, according to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, almost 8% of total DACA requesters, 59,786 individuals, had arrest records which included such offenses as assault and battery, rape, murder, and drunk driving. And 199 individuals who requested DACA had 10 or more arrests. H.R. 6 also provides green cards to gang members. Criminal gangs are a scourge on our communities, preying on vulnerable populations while committing a vast array of criminal acts. H.R. 6.
Gentlemen will suspend. The House is not in order. Please cease your conversations. The gentleman is recognized.
H.R. 6 should not give gang members a foothold in the U.S. by fast-tracking them to a green card. This MTR makes it easier for DHS to deny their applications of gang members by making it an eligibility requirement that an alien not be a gang member and by explicitly permitting DHS to take into account the information found in gang databases. Hear me clearly. No matter what your colleagues may say to you in the next few minutes, if you don't vote for this MTR, you cannot look your constituents in the eye and say honestly that criminals will not get green cards. If the Democrats want to prevent such dangerous individuals from getting green cards, they must vote for this MTR. To do otherwise is to prevent a common sense change that will ensure the safety of law-abiding Americans, as well as those who are seeking to be part of the greatest nation on earth, the United States of America. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. For what purpose does the gentleman from Colorado seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose the motion to recommit. Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman is recognized at this time.
Mr. Speaker, I may be new to Washington, but apparently I've learned something that the other side of the aisle has not, which is how to read a bill. Because if you go to page 12, line 21 of this bill, you will learn that gang members are not eligible under H.R. 6. Mr. Speaker, if you don't believe me, I will quote the bill. That the applicant knowingly, willfully, and voluntarily participated in offenses committed by a criminal street gang with the intent to promote or further the commission of such offenses may be denied by the Secretary of the Homeland Security. So, look, spare me.
To the gallery, please.
Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman will suspend. The gentleman will suspend. Members will come to order. The chair will remind all persons in the gallery that they are here as guests of the House and that any manifestation of approval or disapproval of proceedings is in violation of the rules of the House. The gentleman may proceed.
I would ask my colleagues to spare me this false outrage, because if this really were about gang violence, my colleagues have continuously had opportunities to pass legislation that would curb that threat. If this were about gun violence and gang violence, where were my Republican colleagues last year when Congressman Connolly introduced H.R. 5960, a bill actually called Preventing Gang Violence Act of 2018, a bill that they killed in committee? If my colleagues
will suspend. Members, you must come to order and respect the gentleman's time. The gentleman may proceed.
If my colleagues across the aisle truly wanted to combat gang violence, why did they refuse to let H.R. 1297, the Youth Promise Act, come out of committee when it was introduced in the 114th Congress by Congressman Scott? At the end of the day, there is no question that no one is interested in allowing gang members to benefit from the Dream and Promise Act, and that is why this bill addresses this exact issue. At the end of the day, the Secretary has the ability to deny any applicant if they have directly participated in gang activity, even if they have not been convicted of a crime. Mr. Speaker, what we have lost in the debate today, in my view, is what this bill is all about at its core. I rise today not just as a member of this body, not just as a proud American, but as the son of immigrants, as the son of African refugees who came to the United States over 35 years ago from a war-torn country in East Africa. They became naturalized citizens, and they never forgot nor took for granted the freedom and the opportunities that the United States of America gave them and their children. That I am able to stand in this chamber with all of you today is proof that the American dream is real, and I want it to be attainable for generations to come. That is why we must pass H.R. 6 today. Right now. Right now, there are young people all across our country who know no other home but the United States. These kids are dedicated and willing to put in the hard work to earn a college education. They are excelling in their careers. They are contributing to our communities in countless ways every day. We cannot allow these young people to continue to live in fear, to be at risk every single day of being ripped away from their lives and losing everything that they know. In America, immigrants are integral parts of each of our communities and of our economy. They are our friends. They are our neighbors. They are our coworkers, and fighting each and every day, just as we are, to live up to the American ideals that our country was founded on. Mr. Speaker, I have often heard my colleagues on the other side of the aisle offer quotes in this chamber in my limited time here. Well, let me give you a quote. Let me give you a, Mr. Speaker, the House is not in order.
The chair will insist on House decorum. The gentleman is entitled to express himself today. The gentleman may proceed with debate.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to offer a quote. And the quote is as follows. It is bold men and women yearning for freedom and opportunity who leave their homelands and come to a new country to start their lives over. They believe in the American dream, and over they make it come true for themselves, for their children, and for others. They give more than they receive. They labor and succeed. And often they are entrepreneurs, but their greatest contribution is more than economic, because they understand in a special way how glorious it is to be an American. That quote, that's not my words. Those are the words of President Ronald Reagan. They were delivered by President Ronald Reagan in 1980, the same year my parents came to the United States. Let's pass the H.R. 6 today, and let's treat every person in our country who has struggled and is just as American as you and I are. Let's treat them with the respect that they deserve. Vote no on this motion to recommit, and let's pass H.R. 6 today. I yield back.
Right here.